This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I'm here with our good friend Charles Baker. Charles, how are you today?
I'd say okay.
Okay. We're here to speak about your recently released 2012 Picone Vineyard Riesling under the Charles Baker label. 2012 vintage, how kind was it to this wine?
Kind if you stayed on top of the vineyard. It was a very warm vintage. Sun up from March, sundown to right through November. So quite a hot vintage. But if you were careful in the vineyard and you didn't take anything for granted, then we feel we brought in some very special fruit that year.
Excellent. And what do you think it actually brings to the wine in the bottle? How does this particular vintage differ from perhaps the previous vintages of Picone?
I've often said I prefer cloud cover and cooler years for the Riesling. It turns out that after a decade now, we find that the warm vintages are aging very well. But I would have to say the most important aspect of this bottle is that we learned from our mistakes in 2010, which was an exceedingly warm year, and we applied all the tenets of fine grape growing to that vintage, and of course overshot in terms of missing out on good acidity and yield, etc., etc. So we corrected ourselves in 2012 when it was apparent that we were experiencing the same type of sunshine and warmth, and we protected the canopy, protected the fruit under the canopy more. We didn't crop as insanely low as we did in 2010, and at the end of it, we feel we have a wine that has some nerve and tension and some backbone, which is nice. It'll age for a while.
Well, having tasted it just the other day, I have to say I found it was in keeping with the style of Picone from the past, but it really did have that Picone characteristic, that kind of profile that I'm looking for from that wine. Now this has just recently been released in the LCBO, right?
It was, yeah. Sorry, just on that point of the make no mistake, like this is Picone through and through. This is that vineyard, savory, floral, herbaceous, crunchy, all the good things about this vineyard, which are sort of the antithesis of other traditional bench vineyards, which is citrus and fruit.
Yes.
This is more savory. Released in vintages at the LCBO.
And what's the price on that?
$35 and a pesky 20 cents for the bottle deposit.
$35.20.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a $35.20 most worth investing in the wines of Charles Baker. Charles Baker, thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution.
Thank you.
Bye for now.